Now available in paperback and Kindle, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today. A Nigerian man wound up losing his life when his white female girlfriend wound up taking his life in a domestic violence incident. Now, in this incident, which took place in Miami, Florida, Christian Toby Obumeseli was stabbed to death, allegedly by his girlfriend, Courtney Taylor, after an alleged domestic violence incident. Now, the police have not charged your Courtney Taylor because she invoked the Baker Act, saying she was mentally ill, and after being placed in a 72-hour hold, your Courtney Taylor allegedly wound up taking more pictures and posting them on Onlyfans. Now, the police are seeing the incident between your Courtney Taylor and Christian Obumeseli as an isolated domestic violence incident, but when I take a critical examination of what happened to your Christian Obumeseli, it fits right in line with the pattern and profile for cyber simps that I talk about in my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. And your Christian Obumeseli definitely was one of these blackmail cyber simps who got spellbound and caught up in the white skin of your Courtney Taylor. And the reason why I say he was caught up and spellbound as related to Courtney Taylor's white skin, because if he looked at her profession, he would definitely not choose her based on the content of her character, because any female who goes on a platform like OnlyFans and Instagram to pose in skimpy pictures of her being scantily clad, that is not a woman most smart men would go out here and even consider having a relationship with, because most females who go on platforms like Instagram and OnlyFans are basically female predators, and what these females want to do is get the attention of thirsty simps so that they can go out here and get, at the minimum, likes on social media, and at the most get all sorts of offers from these kinds of men as related to donations to their Patreon, donations to their Cash Apps, and donations to subscription sites like OnlyFans. And a woman having an OnlyFans subscription page is definitely suspect for a rational, critical thinking man, because if a female has an OnlyFans page, basically this female is one of these predators who is looking to take advantage of a whole lot of cyber simps out there, because OnlyFans is a website that is filled with porn stars and prostitutes, and the only people going on that site are simps who have poor male life skills and male social skills, and they're hoping to create a covert contract with this kind of female, hoping that they will be able to have some kind of relationship with her if they pay for her subscriptions. So that's the red flag for most men of character as related to a woman like a Courtney Taylor. If they hear, oh, she's an OnlyFans model, they know that this woman is not somebody that they want to deal with. But your Christian Obumeseli, being a cyber simp and a bedbug, he was looking to get himself a white girlfriend, and he wanted to go out here and show off this white girlfriend as an attachment on his arm to all of his Nigerian and black American friends and rub it in their faces that he got himself a white girl, not understanding he got himself, involved with a white female predator. Now, your Courtney Taylor definitely was a female predator, and basically she was just using your Christian Obumeseli to have a place to stay, and that was basically what she was seeing him as a person to get her from point A to point B. But when it comes down to many cyber simps, they get emotionally attached to these kinds of women, and they're thinking, oh, they can go out here and build a relationship with her. Unfortunately, I believe what happened with Christian Obumeseli, which led to a lot of what they say was the domestic violence was the insecurities he was having being involved with a woman who was always posing in pictures on IG and Onlyfans, and the whole idea of him having to sit there and while she's reading thirsty comments from those guys, that's the thing that wound up frustrating him because as he started to see the reality as related to the fantasy relationship he was having, he was seeing that this was not his woman, no, that it was just his turn, and in his turn, he was being used by a female predator. And as he saw himself being used by this female predator, and his insecurities started to get the better of him, and as he started to see other guys starting to check for his woman, that's when he started to get angry about her, not understanding his problem was not that, not her. The problem was he went out here and tried to go out here and try to have a relationship with a female predator. Because I guarantee you that this Courtney Taylor, if she was an IG model and she was on OnlyFans, she was probably not all there as related to everything. Because when it comes down to these females who go on platforms like OnlyFans and our IG models, they are getting all of these likes from all of these guys who are looking at their pictures of themselves in their lingerie, in their bikinis, and looking all so-called good. And as those thirsty guys are falling into their thirst trap, they are getting not only lots of thirsty comments, they're getting a lot of DMs dropped at them, and they're getting DMs dropped at them from all kinds of guys all over the world. And those guys are dropping money into her, not only her OnlyFans sub, but they're also dropping money into her PayPal, dropping money and dropping money into her Cash App. And as they're dropping money into her PayPal and her Cash App, they're also sending her plane tickets and sending her tickets on Uber to go other places. And as she's going to those places, telling him she's going on a photo shoot, basically what she's doing is going over to these places, getting with these guys, dropping the skid mark thong, and allowing those guys to get a taste of the atomic waste. And if they pay extra, they can do things to make her a disgrace. Because many of these females, what they'll do is say, oh, I'm going on a photo shoot. And then they're flying to places like Dubai, and some Arab guy is going out here and peeing and defecating on them. And then they come back to a guy like a Christian Obumeseli, and he's sitting there thinking, oh, his girlfriend was in a photo shoot. But no, his girlfriend was over in that foreign country with some millionaire or some billionaire, and he was out here sodomizing his woman, urinating on his woman, defecating on his woman. And while she's counting the cash in her Cash App, she's coming back with all of this mental trauma from being humiliated by these deviant men. And as these men are humiliating her, she's got to process all of this trauma that she's dealing with. And as she's trying to process all of this trauma from all of the deviant acts she has participated in, she's also dealing with the insecurities from this guy who thinks, oh, I've got my white queen, but the whole thing is your white queen isn't as pristine as you think she is. Because again, a lot of these white girls, they are not as sweet and innocent as your spellbound black bedbugs think. And these cyber simps, they're sitting there thinking, oh, I've got my dream girl, but your dream girl has been participating in some nightmare behavior. And while it is not considered prostitution, she is basically turning out tricks and being turned out by these guys who she talks to on social media. And that all led to this whole situation where this guy was getting insecure. He was getting angry, possibly, I believe, because of the attention she was receiving. And the whole thing was he was simmering and boiling in anger because as he was dealing with the reality of his popular white girlfriend being out here, he couldn't deal with the idea of his woman being out here and being so popular and being the center of attention. And this is one of the things that led to him, I believe, as related to some reports, getting violent about this woman. And he just didn't understand that this was not the woman for him. He didn't understand that you needed to let this white female go because if she's on IG and she's got an OnlyFans, this is not a woman you go out here and have a relationship with because this woman is basically no longer wanting to live in reality. No, this woman's whole life is a fantasy, and in most cases, she's a fetish for other men, and that has really messed with her mind in some cases, and that's what makes this woman someone you don't want to get involved with. Now, this white female, as she was out here, she was probably having big fights with this guy, with this Nigerian guy, and things probably escalated to a point where she went out here and got so violent that she wound up taking this man's life. And what's sad is this female is not even being charged for this whole crime because she went out here and invoked the Baker Act saying that she was mentally ill, and now the police are not charging her with any crime at all. So in some cases, there might be a possibility that there is something wrong with this female because, again, a lot of these IG models, a lot of these women who are posing on OnlyFans, there's definitely something wrong with them because if a female goes out here and takes a man's life and then goes back and poses for more pictures, that could be a possibility that this female could be some sort of mentally ill. But in some cases, she could possibly have become a sociopath because, again, a lot of these females who are on these platforms are female predators and they have no connection to anybody. And as I've seen with many of these female predators from doing research on them, they see a man as a way to get from point A to point B, and seeing that she could no longer use Christian Obumeseli, a black male cyber simp, to have a place to stay, what your Courtney Taylor possibly could have done is take this man's life because he was no longer of use to him. And that's the kind of danger many of these black male bedbug cyber simps don't really understand that they're getting into dealing with this kind of woman. They really don't understand how dangerous these kinds of females are because they get so caught up in their feelings about those crystal blue eyes and that creamy white skin that they don't think that this female could be a danger to them. No, when they see this woman, they see somebody who could possibly be somebody fly to have on their arm, and they want to sit there and think, oh, I've got a woman who's a model, but this woman's whole model for her mental health is basically on the level of a serial killer because this female, again, she has gone through all sorts of trauma as related to the numerous deviant sexual acts she's participated in, and subconsciously is starting to build an anger for men, and that could escalate as she's being allegedly hit by this man, and this could lead to a cauldron of explosion of rage. But this whole episode with your Christian Obumeseli, it's an episode that shows us all that, the grass isn't greener on the other side, and sometimes when the bedbug tries to go out here and get himself a white girl, he winds up inside of a case where he's in a world of hell because he's thinking, oh, I'm going to go get me a white woman. She's going to be better than a black woman. But this white female has so much mental and emotional baggage that there's nothing any man can do to have any relationship with her because this female is deeply troubled and there's something wrong with them. And because these guys are so caught up in their feelings about picking up a Becky out of the bust down lot, they're not looking at the issues that this female has, And while she may be 50% off on the bus downtown lot, the issues that lead to her there are something that you should take a critical examination of. Because, again, if there's a young, attractive white female out here and she's got an Onlyfans, that's a red flag to everyone that there is something wrong with her. And any critical thinking man, once he sees a woman that has an IG page with her thirst trapping guys and an OnlyFans page where she's thirst trapping dudes, that is a first indicator that this is a female you definitely don't want to deal with. Unfortunately, many of your bedbug black males, these cyber simps, they think, oh, I'm going to go out here and get with her because she answered my DM. But the whole thing is she's answering your DM because she doesn't have any options with white dudes, because those white dudes already know what the deal is with her. But because you're not paying attention, you think, oh, she's out here and it's gonna be a good thing. And the sad part is, as related to your Christian Obumeseli, because he was so caught up in trying to get himself a white girl, he's not going to get any justice, because the gynocentric criminal justice system is going to give this white female a pass. And after this man has lost his life, this white female is not even going to be charged for his murder. So that shows us how little a bedbug's life matters as related to things. But I guess that really didn't mean anything to your Christian Obumeseli, because as long as he was getting his taste of the atomic waste in the skid mark thong of this Courtney Taylor, all he thought about was getting that taste of the atomic waste. And that meant more to him than anything in his life, including his own life. It's just deeply disturbing to see how some of these black males out here deify and worship white women and non-black women, that they're willing to put their own life on the line, and they're willing to possibly put themselves in situations where they're going to lose their life, all because they want to get a taste of the white girl's atomic waste. They want to get into the box of the white girl, and they're willing to put their lives on the line just because, oh, the white girl's going to give them a taste of the box, a box that possibly has been filled with everything from nut to crap. And this is something that this black male has not really thought about as related to this white woman. And because this guy didn't think about it, she's out here after he has passed away, posing for pictures on OnlyFans, making money and getting back to business as usual. Meanwhile, his family is grieving his loss. And the lesson here, as related to most men out here, is whenever you see a female on OnlyFans, whenever you see a female on IG, what you need to do is click out of that page. And if you're on IG, just keep on scrolling down and keep it moving. Now, this was a video requested by one of my viewers, and if you want to request a video, you can donate to the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box, and if I know something about that subject, I will make that video for you. Now, if you want to learn how to avoid female predators like this Courtney Taylor, allegedly, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And in that book, I will show you why you need to avoid female predators like your IG models, like your e-girls, and other online females who operate thirst traps that wind up taking the money and the lives of men. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available for the first time on Google Play, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are falling apart in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy on Google Play today.